The cafeteria was loud and chaotic, filled with clusters of students laughing, sharing food, and scrolling on their phones. Yet in the far corner, Ethan sat alone, silently unwrapping the same peanut butter sand, which his mom packed for him every day. He watched the others, Jared, the star football player, who always had a crowd around him, Zoe, the student council president, whose confidence sparkled as much as her designer boots. Even quiet kids like Maya had their own groups. Ethan, on the other hand, had become the background. He wasn't bullied, he was simply invisible. He kept his head down, finished his lunch, and scrolled through Instagram. That was a mistake. His feed was filled with selfies, luxury vacations, achievements, birthday parties he hadn't been invited to. Everyone else seemed so perfect, like they had life figured out. Compared to them, Ethan felt like a blurry extra in someone else's highlight reel. At night, in his small bedroom, Ethan stared at his ceiling and whispered into the dark, "Why can't I be like them?" He didn't know it then, but the answer would come in the most unexpected way. Ethan's favorite part of the day wasn't lunch or PE. It was the quiet moments after school, in the art room, when no one was around. That's where he let his thoughts flow onto paper, sketching mountains, galaxies, animals, and sometimes scenes of people being happy. Things he didn't often feel, but longed to. One afternoon, while shading a sketch of a fox curled beneath a cherry blossom tree, a voice startled him. "Wow, did you draw that?" It was Lily Thompson, the girl who was always kind, but never talked much beyond a passing hi. She wore paints, bladdered jeans, and had wild curls tied back loosely. Ethan nodded, shyly covering the drawing. "It's just something I do to pass time." "Are you kidding? This is beautiful. Why don't you ever share your work?" she asked. He shrugged. "It's not that good. There are real artists out there. Compared to them, I'm just nothing." Lily tilted her head. "Ethan, comparing your art to someone else's is like comparing a tree to a star. Both are beautiful, just in different ways." Before he could respond, she asked, "Would you help us paint the backdrop for the school play? We need someone like you." He hesitated. She smiled. "Please, we need magic, and I think you have some." That night he said yes. The following weeks were a blur of color. After school, Ethan joined Lily and a few other students in transforming a dull, wooden backdrop into a glowing forest of dreams for the play. He still didn't talk much, but something inside him began to warm, like a candle had been lit. One late evening, after everyone else had gone, Ethan stayed behind to clean his brushes. That's when he noticed Mr. Ray's, the school janitor, watching him from the hallway. "You've got a steady hand," Mr. Ray said kindly. Ethan smiled, unsure how to respond. "I used to paint too, a long time ago," the old man added. "But I gave it up because I didn't think I was good enough. Spent years comparing myself to other artists, until I lost the joy in it." Ethan looked up, surprised. Mr. Ray's chuckled. "Funny thing is, I only started liking myself once I stopped chasing everyone else's reflection. You know what I see in your work, honesty, emotion, that matters more than perfection." Ethan felt his throat tighten. No one had ever said something like that to him. The janitor gave him a gentle pat on the shoulder. "Don't let the world shrink your light, kid. You were made to shine differently." Opening night arrived. The school auditorium buzzed with excitement. Parents, teachers, and students filled the seats, but Ethan's eyes were on the backdrop, the mural he had helped paint. It was a forest lit with stars, a winding river of gold, and a sky that glowed with hues of hope. It wasn't perfect, but it was his. Each brushstroke held a part of him that he had never shown anyone. As the curtains rose and the play began, Ethan watched from backstage, his heart thudding. He didn't care for applause, but he hoped, just hoped, that someone would feel something. After the show, as the audience trickled out, a woman in a long coat remained behind. She stood in front of the stage, staring at the mural. She turned to the principal, eyes moist. "Who painted this backdrop?" she asked. "It's breathtaking." The principal smiled. "One of our students, Ethan Blake." The woman nodded slowly. My daughter passed away last year. She loved painting. This muralette feels like her dreams are alive again. Tell Ethan, thank you, from the bottom of my heart." Backstage, Ethan overheard it all. His chest tightened. He had never imagined his art could reach someone's soul. He didn't need thousands of likes or followers. This one moment, this one life touched, meant more than any comparison ever could. That night, back in his room, Ethan sat by the mirror, the same one that had reflected all his insecurities year after year. But tonight it looked different. He looked different, not cooler, not more popular. Just peaceful. He pulled out his sketchbook and on the first page wrote, "Don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. The sun and the moon shine when it's their time." He smiled, not because he had changed who he was, but because he had finally accepted himself. In the end, the greatest victory wasn't over others. It was over the lie that he wasn't enough. You don't have to be like anyone else to be worthy. Your path is yours alone. In a world that constantly tells you to measure up, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop measuring altogether. Shine in your own light.